Hey, West Virginia Tim here. I've got to do some maintenance on one of my multi-caches. It's called Gadgets at Sleepy Creek. So I'm going to take you along with me. Let me give you a little background. It's a 4.5 difficulty with a 3.5 terrain. It's a mystery cache. It was actually hundreds of hours in the making. At each stage, you've got to figure out the coordinates to get to the next stage. So every single stage is a gadget. Hopefully you can pick up some ideas that you can do a multi-cache. But this cache page tells me that I'm going to need some household gadgets to take along with me so that I can solve them. Now it doesn't tell me which ones I'm going to need at which stage. So you actually have to take some gadgets with you. Here's some examples of what we're going to have to take, and you're going to see me using some of those up there. Several feet of string, a straight edge ruler, 4 AA batteries, a hardcover book, a magnet, duct tape, 12 feet of a 12-foot tape measure, a number 2 size normal pencil, magnifying glass, 15 pennies, a flashlight, a mirror, and a trash bag to do a little sito. So, hopefully you'll get some ideas for a multi. Let's head up to Gadgets of Sleepy Creek, and we'll see you at stage 1. Here we are in Sleepy Creek Wildlife Area. It's a very remote area, about 25,000 acres. Stages on the cache page says that it's not hard to find, it's just going to be hard to solve. But this cache, Gadgets of Sleepy Creek, is my very favorite. So my GPS tells me I'm only about 50 feet away from stage 1. Okay, here we are at stage 1. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but there's actually fake grass here, artificial turf. So I moved my artificial turf, and right there I am. So let me open this and pull it out for you. Okay, I went through my list of gadgets, and that's about the only way you can figure this out. When you look at this, there's just nothing there. With the naked eye, you can't see a thing. But now, don't laugh at my magnifying glass. But I ended up narrowing it down to a magnifying glass. And if I take my magnifying glass and I look really, really, really carefully, with my old eyes, I can barely see some numbers. I had a graphic artist help me with this and embed the coordinates to the next stage actually in Inspector Gadget. And all he did was use very, very, very small font, and he changed the color, and he actually put it in with the same color, if that makes any sense. So he took the orange, changed the orange just a hair, and he embedded the coordinates, and they're actually in the side of his face here. So now I've got the coordinates to stage 2. Let's head off to stage 2. Okay, as I head to ground zero on stage 2, I see a familiar West Virginia Tim site, a birdhouse. Okay, as the cacher gets a closer look, he's just going to notice that it's a birdhouse just made out of old barnwood. There's really only 2 things unusual about this cache. One's the bottom, and as I look at the bottom, it's plexiglass, and it's just attached with 4 screws, and it's kind of painted red, and for some reason I can't see up through here. I've tried to shine my light, but it's all blocked off. And the other thing I found unusual about this cache is the perch is just really a stick, and the stick actually just pulls right out. So let me look at my list of gadgets that the cache page asked me to bring and see if there's anything that I can fit in here. I've looked in this hole, and there's plexiglass here, but I can't see a thing in there. It's just black, and there's nothing back there. So I've used a flashlight here, and I've used a flashlight down here at the bottom, but I can't see anything. So let me think about this hole right here. Okay, one of the list of gadgets is a number 2 pencil. Guess what fits perfectly in that hole? And then when I put the number 2 pencil, hear that? Something's in there is moving. So I can't film it and show you both at the same time. But I took my flashlight and I shined my flashlight back here in the back corner of this thing to kind of light up the box. I pushed my pencil into this hole right here, and then I looked into this hole. And when I put my pencil in, all of a sudden the geocache cords appeared through this window. Let's look at the inside of this cache. Okay, we have stage 2 open. Let's take a peek at it. Remember, you got a piece of plexiglass here. The bottom, as you can see, is a piece of plexiglass on the bottom. It's tinted, and then there's a piece of saran wrap. Why do you put the saran wrap? You put the saran wrap here because if you didn't have saran wrap and a person could look up, you could easily figure it up. So you don't, figure it out. So you don't want them doing that. If you look up in the top, of course, at a 45-degree angle is a mirror. And then, of course, the flap right here is just a hinge flap. So when you put your pencil in, you raise the flap. And, of course, on the flap are the coordinates, but they're written so that they're backwards, so when you look at them in a mirror, they look correct. I plugged in the cords I got at the birdhouse. It says I'm 128 feet away, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a real large rock formation right that direction. Let's head that way. Okay, I found the cache at stage 3 under this rock right here, but it's not getting any easier. Opened up this piece of Tupperware, and all there is this piece of Tupperware, a baggie, and this piece of paper. And there's just a bunch of numbers. Now, I'm at 3930, and so I probably will need 3930 in some coordinates, and I'm at 078, so here's an 07. But see, here's an 078. I'm going to look at my list of gadgets that I'm supposed to bring because there's going to be something here that's going to help me. But you know, there is something on that list. It said bring 15 pennies. Let me reach in my gadget bag and see if I can find 15 pennies. Okay, the pennies were the correct solution. And I'm not going to solve it, but the pennies pretty much exactly cover over these numbers. I ignored the small numbers. They're just there to try to mislead you. But if you use the pennies and cover the appropriate numbers, and 15 pennies was exactly right. So I used the 15 pennies, and I got the coordinates to the next stage. There's actually a hint here. It says climb to the top of the tallest rock and look around. And right down here, there's a path that almost takes you right up to the top of this rock. I'm not sure the video is going to actually capture this, but right there's the pike at the very end, and you're really pretty high. But this is a 3.5 terrain difficulty. The hint says go right to the end, so you can see my foot is just about right at the end, and it probably drops down 40-50 feet to the bottom. So the cache is right here. Now, of course, I know where it's at because I put it. So what cachers will do after they look, and it takes them right here, the cache is right here, but it's over the rock wall. If you look down here, there's something. But the problem is I look at that, it's backwards, and I can't read the chords. So let me look at my gadget list and see what I'm going to need. Okay, why did I put that over the edge? You can see my hand. This is about as far as I can reach. Because, of course, on the gadget list is a mirror. And I need to use the mirror to be able to read those chords. But, we've all seen those numbers, and if you can look right at them, you actually can read them backwards. But if it's over a 50-foot embankment, it's actually impossible. So I'm actually going to use my mirror, and when I use my mirror, the chords pop right out there at me. So I'm going to take those chords, and let's head to the next stage. Oh, and let you know how I did that. That's just a piece of steel that I cut and etched out with an engraver, and then I connect it to the rock using epoxy. It's been there for 2 years, and it's really in pretty good shape. I knew it was going to be impossible to show you 10 stages of this unique multi-cache, so I'll just call this part 1, and I'll soon post a second part to show you the rest of the cache. I hope you're getting some ideas that you can use on some multi-caches. Let's raise the geocaching bar one cache at a time.